I got a review of the ASICS Novablast 3, the new TR edition, the stuff that you can't Google online, because I know that you could just Google the stats of the shoe. I want to tell you why I bought this shoe, why I'm trying out, and what my opinions of it have been after putting about 200 miles on these guys. Now, these shoes are pretty muddy. I have been using them. Most recently, I just did a nice little trail run, 13 miles or 14 miles or so, 5,000 feet of elevation. And that was really put me over the edge of wanting to do a review of this shoe. I'll just show you quick and then I can put the shoe down. As far as like flexibility, they are pretty stiff. Not too stiff, just a little bit stiff, right? Not too much bendability. Definitely nice and stiff in the back, which I really, really like in a trail shoe. Gives me a little bit more return when we're up on our toes going uphill. That was the first thing that I really liked. The other thing that I want to show you quick is just the tread on the bottom. Now, these are different than their regular Novablast. So the ASICS has a Novablast that is a road shoe. And I've run in that shoe before, and I really, really liked how it felt. Traditionally, I come from Brooks. I've done a review of my Brooks shoe. You could check that out somewhere on my channel. So this was really the first change I've made away from Brooks, and I needed a trail shoe as I was entering some of these ultra marathons and things over the summer that's coming up, and I wanted to try something. Now, why didn't I go with something more popular like Ultra or Hoka or something like that line? Well, there really is a specific reason that I decided to go this route. So here's really the first reason I went with these shoes. Right now, when I was running on the Brooks, they have a pretty big heel to toe drop. If you don't know what that means, you can look it up. It's really just how high your heel is in relation to your toe. And now it's 12 millimeters in the Brooks Adrenalines that I've been running in. And I heard and knew that I didn't want to drop my toe drop too much too soon, if you know what I mean. And every single trail shoe that I see is either neutral, like no drop, or in that 4 to 5 millimeter drop. And I knew coming from 12 down to 4 that that might be a lot. These ones come in at 8. So it was like a nice little transition down from the 12. And up in that 12 zone of the Brooks, it really like limits how much trail shoe you can use. And like there's an adaptation period between your ankles and your Achilles when you lower that drop. So I kind of wanted to step down and really in the future give myself more options in the trail shoe line at that 4 millimeter or even neutral drop. And this was like that nice little step. And not to mention, like I said, I'd run in the road version of this shoe and really, really liked it. So I knew it was comfortable. And it really was a toss-up between these and the Brooks Cascadia, which I will be doing a review of because I did end up getting those shoes as well. But I'll explain like why I did that in just a second when I talk about one of the cons of this shoe. First, some of the pros and things I like. And guys, like I said, I'm not like a technical reviewer. I'm just giving you like, hey, I'm a guy that runs and here's how it feels. And other things that I heard online before I bought them. And the first thing I heard was like the tongue was too short. It is a little short, but I haven't had any issues. It wasn't too short for me. Up around the heel, all right, we do have a little bit of flexibility here, but nothing crazy, but it is a nice little bit of padding. There's been no chafage, no tears or anything through that. The lacing system is very, very nice. It's not a circle lace. It's a nice regular rectangular kind of lace. And I definitely, like I said, I'm sure there's technicals for this, like 3D printed uppers and all that other stuff, but as far as like lacing them up, I get a really, really good fit. They feel really, really secure. I tend to have maybe a little bit of a wide foot, and that hasn't been an issue in this shoe. So as far as like, if you have a wide foot, I think you're going to be okay. If you have a narrow foot, you're definitely probably be okay. All right, those were some of the things that I liked right off the bat. Like when I put this on, especially from the Brooks, it felt so comfortable. They are very, very cushiony, which is in line with their road shoe as well. So you're going to feel that cushion. It's very, very comfortable, which makes it great for a little bit of longer distances. And I really, really like the fit and the comfort. Not to mention they are a lot lighter. You can look up the stats, but compared to the Brooks Adrenaline, I felt like these were like light as a feather. I've brought them on the trails. I PR'd 5Ks in them, PR 10Ks. They really do feel fast. And I really liked that about them. And I know there's faster shoes out there. But like I said, coming from the Brooks, they did a really, really good job. Some of the cons that we'll talk about is, we'll see in the front, there's not a ton of toe protection. Let me see if I can zoom this in. Okay, so it's really more of like a road shoe front. And I did experience that when I got into a little bit more technical trails. I was definitely stubbing my toe. There probably might have been a little bit of chafage if I did it a lot. But like I said, more of a road shoe front that, you know, we'll talk about a little bit more when we get to the cons. The last thing that I really, really loved about it, like I said, is that transition from the road shoe into this. If you don't like rotating through different shoes and you like to use the same quote type of shoe, if you run in their Novablast 3 Road Edition and then go to this, the feeling underfoot is pretty much going to be identical. So you can have those for your road, and these when it gets a little bit wet, you could throw these on as far as like the trail is concerned, and that will be awesome for you. And you won't have to worry about, you know, I wear this shoe to run and I wear this shoe for trail. That is something that's also very, very nice about this shoe. Now some cons and things to be aware of. Number one, like I said, the treads aren't that large, okay? They're not really that big. I've brought them on wet terrain, but like muddy terrain, still a little slippery and slidey. As far as like rocks and things like that, technically up, they didn't slip off rocks. It was good grip there. But definitely, like if you're running in a rain or muddy or something like that, you're definitely probably going to want something with a little bit bigger lug on the bottom. Talked about that front protection as well, but I will say this. They don't feel very stable on my foot when I'm going downhill on technical terrain. That is the reason why I got the Cascadias. And like I said, when I say not a lot of stability, when I would be going downhill, I kind of would feel like my foot was sliding a little bit, like the upper was really, really not stretchy, but definitely allowed for some movement. So I didn't feel completely locked into the shoe when I was going downhill on technical descents. Guys, this shoe is great if you have like nicely buffed trails, not a lot of like roots and rocks, maybe rolling hills. Like I have like a nice little greenway, and these are fast and furious for that greenway. And that's why I'm going to keep them in my rotation, because they definitely have their place. They have a place if it's just rained, even if you want to go out on the road and you want a little bit more traction. If you live in a wet climate and you know that there's going to be some wet roadways and you want to get out there and maybe some leaves, that's where I think this shoe really fits in as far as like trail running. But as far as like technical trails, uphill, over rocks and things like that, I don't think that this is an ideal shoe for that condition. I like the attempt by ASICS and what they did here, but to call it like strictly a trail shoe, I think is a little bit of a stretch in my opinion. Like I said, I wear them when it rains. They have awesome drainage. I have walked through streams and things like that, something I didn't mention. I've walked through streams. They drain out awesome. It's fine. My foot does not like feel like it's sitting in a puddle like some shoes will do. So that was good. Breathability, they don't feel very hot. It has been winter during the times that I've run them, but I haven't had any issues with like my feet feeling warm. Like I said, comfortable, great shoe. They have their place, but that place is smoothed out, buff trails, or wet conditions. They are not for your technical races. I'm doing 100K in September. That's why I went with something like the Cascadia, and I'm also going to try other shoes in that 4 to 6 mil drop zone now that I've dropped down to 8 mil and feel very, very comfortable with that heel to toe drop. But definitely don't expect to be doing rocky downhills, super technical routes where you're going to be like skipping around and jumping. I just don't think you'll feel that stability underfoot that you're going to want when you're doing that more technical terrain. Have you run in this shoe before? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, let me know if you are in a trail shoe that's in that 6 to 8 mil drop zone. To give me some more options, I'll try them out and get back to you. If you want more honest reviews of the stuff that you can't read on Google, please consider subscribing, give the video a thumbs up, and I'll check you guys on the next video.